Okay, so for this movement, we're gonna start by standing with our feet about hip width apart. So you want your feet to be directly underneath your hips. If you need some support, you can hold onto the wall or something strong to help keep your balance, because we're really just focusing on loading the ankles in various positions here. So at first, you might need some support to help with your balance, but long term, you want to work towards being able to do this without any supports. So like this, we're going to start by elevating the heels. So you're coming up into a calf raise. Most of the weight's going to be on the balls of your feet and maybe into your toes. And you're just going to start to walk back and forth. So you're lifting one leg up and putting it down. Just do this about 10 to 20 times. And then you're going to come down and then elevate your toes, walking on your heels. So you might notice that you'll move around quite a bit because you don't have a lot of control when you are walking on your heels. Good. Once you've done that a couple times, you're going to put your feet flat and then roll onto the outer edges of your feet, walking back and forth. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can slow it down and see if you can pause for a little bit. Good. And then next, you're going to roll your ankles in inversion, walking on the inner edges of your feet. Same idea here. If you want to slow it down to make it a little bit more challenging, you can do that as well. Good. And then once you've done that, we're going to do some rocks back and forth. So we'll start by going up onto the toes and then slowly coming down with control onto the heels and back onto the toes and onto the heels. So I usually like to do that 5 times, and this is where I usually need support too, so we'll hold on to a ladder. Onto the heels, toes, heels. We'll do that one more time. Toes, and then heels. And then we're gonna go side to side. So with this one, you're just going to initiate the movement with your ankles. You're just going to roll both your ankles off to the side. So one side is going to be inverted and the other is going to be everted, and then you're going to switch to the other side. A common mistake that I see is that people will drive their hips first as if they're falling, and then their feet will catch up, whereas we actually want to try to keep our hips right above our feet and initiate the movement with the ankles itself. So you shouldn't see too much side to side hip movement here, just like this. Back and forth a couple times. Good. And then lastly, we're going to do a big rotation. So rolling on the outer edge on one foot, inner edge on the other, onto the toes, to the side, and to the heels. So you'll do a couple rotations in one direction and then a couple in the other. Again, just making sure to be mindful of keeping the pelvis directly over the feet and not letting the hips do the rotation here. It's really the ankles doing all of the work. So yeah, just do that a couple times on one side, and then you'll switch and do the same thing on the other side, just for a few reps. It's a great way to warm up the ankles. I like to do stuff like this before I hike. Whenever I'm walking on uneven terrain, it's a good idea to just warm up the ankles in the variety of positions that it might access while you're on a hike or walking on uneven terrain. Good, and just give it a little shake. Good to go.